On today's episode, I've got one of the most independent music podcasts in the country.
Welcome to the podcast.
If you like us, leave a comment below.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel now and make sure you never miss another upload. It's time to bring you yet another amazing episode.
Chatting Tracks
With Rob, the face for Radio Burgess.
Hello and welcome to Chatting Tracks with me, Rob, the face for Radio Burgess. Now, if you've not done it, give that cheeky like button a smash, and then you can keep up to date with what's going on in the world of Chatting Tracks. On today's episode, I've got Pete Saxer of Unknown Sounds, a podcast that plays nothing but independent bands and artists. Now, this is fantastic. Normally, we don't get a chance to do this, but on today's episode, we're going to play some music. So all the artists featured in this episode, the links are going to be below. So if you like anything you hear, just go below and you can find the artists, their websites and their music, and also Pete's podcast. And don't forget, comment on the video as well, because I'd love to hear your comments on the songs. Anyway, that's enough of me. I'll see you on the next one. Ta-da!
Chatting Tracks. Let's talk music.
So growing up, was there much music in your house? Was your parents into music, or was it sort of one of those things where you discovered music by yourself?
Well, my father was always into music. He always had his little component stereo, you know, and I also had a close and play, so I would play a lot of his records on that. Yeah, did they have close and plays here?
I think so, but they were like big sideboards.
No, this was just a little plastic blue thing that the needle was on the lid of the component, so you would close it and the needle would go on. It sounded absolutely horrible, but that was my first stereo. So yeah, my father used to play a lot of 45s, and I remember him taking the needle back and forth, especially do you remember the Ramblin' Man?
Yeah.
There was a song called The Ramblin' Man, and he loved it, so he would go back and try and write the lyrics down, so it'd be, you know, get a sentence here, a sentence there, and then keep going back and forth. And by the end, he scratched the heck out of that 45, but he knew the words. So yeah, he also used to play guitar. So we used to sing songs and stuff, you know, as a family. It was nice. Yeah, it was like that. But then, of course, I got into my own music, you know.
And what was it?
When the trouble started.
What sort of album or single really sort of made you sort of open your eyes and go, wow, what's this?
Well, do you remember Smoking in the Boys' Room?
Yeah.
I really like that. That came out when I was in 6th grade, and I really liked that. It was just like a cacophony of these sounds. I was like, wow, it's not just because before that, my parents grew up in the 50s, so we listened to a lot of 50s music, you know, and that was, you know, very staged and kind of, it was okay, but doo-wop is doo-wop, you know, and then that came along. I was like, wow, there's stuff out there for me, you know. First artist that I really got into was Elton John.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was amazing. You know, our song. I listened to this stuff in real time when it was coming out. You know, I'm quite old now. So in the 70s, I loved him as a singer-songwriter. He was absolutely amazing.
So were you sort of instantly hooked by music, and did you sort of go to gigs at the time? Was there much around for you to see?
No, I didn't really go to a lot of gigs until I was older. I'm not sure why, you know, but I used to listen to a lot of music. The first gig that I wanted to go to was Kiss, because right after I fell out of love with Elton John, I fell in love with Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. And I loved them. I got the magazine and everything, and I really wanted to go see him. And I was supposed to go see him. Me and my friend Terry Camp was supposed to go see him. And all I had to do was get permission from my parents. And at first they said yes, but then my older brother, Ray, said, wait a second, he's too young to go see this band, you know? You know what they do with those things? They drinking and all this kind of stuff. So in the end, I wasn't allowed to go.
Oh, no way.
I know. And it wasn't until I think I was 18 that I first saw the Kinks. I went to the Kinks at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. It was a very intimate gig. It was me and 150,000 other people.
So am I right thinking you grew up in the New York area? Did you go to CBGB's and all these other clubs?
I did go to CBGB's once. What a dive, mate. It was such a dive. But I saw Iggy Pop was there, and that was amazing. But to tell you the truth, I was really scared because it was a rough and tumble area, you know, and I was quite young. I was probably 18 or 19. And it was a great show. I was really glad I went. And it really turned me on to the alternative kind of scene.
So has punk always been one of those things that you've always loved?
Well, I remember when the Sex Pistols came out, there was this show on television, One Day at a Time. And it was just about this single woman growing up with kids, and she lived in in an apartment building, and Schneider was the superintendent who used to come around and fix things. And he lent the youngest girl a stereo, and he said you could play any music on there except for the Sex Pistols. And I was like, the Sex Pistols? Who is that? So I started listening to the Sex Pistols, and I was hooked, only because such emotion, you know, such rage and fury. I loved it. I really loved it. And then I got into the Dead Kennedys, and it just snowballed from there. And I saw a lot of punk shows.
Wow. Was there, I mean, punk pretty much started in New York. Was there a massive punk scene at the time, or was it one of those things where it was just like 4 or 5 bands and you happened to just see them at the same time?
No, it was a pretty big scene. By the time I got in, you know, I was in probably the early 80s now. 82, 83 is when I really saw a lot. And actually, it wasn't even in New York. It was in New Jersey. There was a club in Trenton called City Gardens. It's fantastic. There's a Netflix documentary about it. And I went to half those shows that they show on the Netflix. I saw Jello Biafra and the Dead Kennedys. I saw Suicidal Tendencies, the Descendants, so many bands. It was really a lot of fun.
It sounds like you were influenced by English music at the start, and then punk came in and just wiped it all away.
Well, that's the funny thing, Robbie, because in America, they don't really talk about where bands are from, you know? And I wasn't into like listening to interviews and all that stuff. I just like the music, you know? So yeah. Elton John, the Beatles, they all sang in an American accent. So as far as I was concerned, they're all American.
Did you ever try to form your own band and play your like instruments yourself?
No, I have not been blessed with musical talent at all. I play the guitar a little bit just for my own fun and try the ukulele, but no, I'm not really good at it. I wish I was. I really do, but I'm not.
I think punk ukulele would be an angle no one's covered yet.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. One show that we were at the City Gardens and we were seeing Suicidal Tendencies. Have you ever heard of them?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, they have this song called Institutionalized. And it's all about this kid who sits in his room all day and he's thinking about this and this and that. And it's very slow, you know, and then all of a sudden it just releases into the chorus. It just goes, ah! So I went down into the pit, and at City Gardens, there was a pit. It was like a foot deep and it was concrete. So I started going around and I'm doing my thing, going around. And then all of a sudden, the chorus comes and it's just like, ah, and people are all over the place. And I was down on the ground. I thought I was going to die. And then all of a sudden, I feel this hand come down, grab my arm, lifts me off the ground and puts me down on, you know, up on the edge of the pit. I look up, it's this huge guy dressed in leather with a big mohawk, huge guy. And he said, looks like you were going to get hurt in there. I said, thanks, buddy. The next day, I had 5 black and blue marks on my arm where his fingers were from picking me up. But thank God he did.
It reminds me of back in the clubs we used to go to in the 90s when Nevermind just come out. And I used to play Teen Spirit. And there was this thing where I think it started in Brazil and it was quite brutal. So they used to separate at the verse. And then when it would go, everyone would just run and start punching each other. And it started in Brazil, but people were, you know, in Brazil, people were getting killed. It was really, really nasty.
Oh my gosh.
It was like a street fighting thing they did, and they did it in the club. And then, so we were there, my mates, and I said, I'll get around in. So I've gone to the bar, not paying attention, and I've got these drinks. And it just happened, I got the drinks, and as the verse was speaking, so I turned around and walking, I thought, this is quite nice, clear dance floor. And then all of a sudden, where that bang? And I was in the middle of this fight. So what I could do was just put the gear above my head. And then I was getting punched in the ribs and punched in the face and all this sort of stuff. And then I was like, so I got out the melee, and then I was like, great. And when I put the pint glasses down, they had about an inch in each. So, like yourself, I had all these bruises for days over like 2 inches of beer.
Yeah. Oh, great.
I mean, it's wonderful that like you and I have memories like those, because you don't really get clubs around anymore that play music like this sort of stuff, do you? No, it's kind of gone, this sort of music scene, in that sense of things being a bit chaotic and like CBGBs with dirt on the floor and the you know, the toilet being broken and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's
big holes in the dance floor.
Yeah, and, you know, sticky dance floors. I was in England, sticky dance floors where there'd be like beer from yesterday. It's a real shame these things don't exist anymore. So leading up to the podcast, is this why you sort of formed your podcast, because of your love of music?
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a friend who started a radio station, and he kept bugging me on. He wanted me to do a show, and I'm quite shy. I was like, nah, I don't want to do a show. I don't want to do a show. I think he only liked my voice because I have an American accent and my questionable sense of humor. But finally, I gave in. He had a good idea. He said, why don't you do independent music show? And I went right into it. I said, yeah, I think I can do that. I think I can do it. But I was really worried because who's going to send me music? You know, I had no idea how to do it, if there would be an audience, if there would be people sending in music. It was kind of stressful, but I'm glad I did it. A few years later, we're still going strong.
And when you first started, did you get was it an instant sort of hit? Did it get an influx of tracks and things like that?
Yeah, actually, it took a while for me to do a lot of the social media stuff because that's where all the connections are made. But I quickly found out though there isn't a huge market for independent music out there. You know, there are some stations and some podcasts, but there's not that many. I was surprised. So once I started doing the show and people heard their music at first it was on a radio station, they really, really liked it. And the word got around and I got inundated with music, you know, and also I try to make a connection with the people. You know, I write them emails. It's not just everything is just not, you know, just forms. I try to speak to them. I try to speak to them on telephone and talk to them and become almost like friends with them, you know, virtual friends. And I have done in a lot. And so because of that, I think, and because I love the music, a lot of the bands and the solo artists I consider friends now, which is really nice.
What's nice about listening to the show is you can tell it's not disposable to you. It's not sort of the artists have been on and they're like, yeah, thanks for that. And next up it's so-and-so. You can tell you definitely try to build a rapport with the artists and like a working relationship, if you like. And yeah, I mean, I've been listening to the podcast and I found some fantastic bands through that are really, really interesting as well. And it's that double-edged sword at the moment, isn't it? That you can find a band that's amazing, but getting that elusive record deal is harder nowadays because it's not what they're cookie cutter in at the moment. You know, because it's not Harry Styles or it's not, you know, a One Direction. Are they still a thing? Because it's not like One Direction. Then, you know, these bands won't get signed. But there always is a shift in music where like, you know, you had disco and then overnight My Sharona come out and wiped it away. You know, and it's one of those things that once this shift happens again, that these bands will then probably be pushed right to the forefront of music, which is where they deserve to be, because some of the stuff I've heard is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Some of it is absolutely amazing. But, you know, it's so different from what it was in the 70s and 80s and 90s. You know, people put out their own music now. I say it's independent, unsigned bands, but they have their own companies, their own way, their own production companies, their own way to put their music out, which is great. For me, though, if a band got signed, then I wouldn't play them anymore. See, I haven't got there yet, but my USP for the show is I only play music by independent, unsigned bands who send us their own music. So if the band starts sending me music and then they become successful and they get a manager saying, then they start sending me music, I can't play it anymore. I'm not sure if that is going to continue that way. We'll see how it goes, because hopefully some of the bands that I promote will do rather well. People think that they like the independent world, you know. They don't want to be, you know, slapped in with Britney Spears and, you know, soulless kind of music, I say. Although Britney definitely has a soul, I think so.
I love Britney. Everybody knows me.
You look a lot like her, by the way.
Thanks very much. I knew that might help. So shall we play someone from the show?
Let's play a song by Emma Howett. Now, Emma is she's in Worcester in the UK. She's also the lead singer of a band called Chevy Chase Stole My Wife. And that band actually just played in Glastonbury this year. They did really, really well. So she's been a big supporter of the show, and I'm a big supporter of Emma. She's a very, very talented woman. This is a song from, no, it's not from her album. It's off, it's a single, and it's a great one. She plays most of the instruments in the video, as you'll see. So here's Emma Howett with Howl.
Here we are, waiting for the party to begin. In the hideout, in the city behind the dirty wheelie bin.
Wow.
Fantastic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, really, really good. And I love the fact that it's all independently made. It's sort of, you can tell it's all being sort of handmade, the music, the video, the whole thing. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Very creative as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 And the song is great. The songs, of course, is about empowering yourself, isn't it? It's fantastic. You know, I'm no longer going to sit back and let you do the talking. I'm going to howl myself. In fact, there's a line in there that says, I thought life was something fun for other people to do. And that connects with me because I've always been afraid my whole life, you know? In fact, Unknown Sounds is the first thing I'm doing where I feel like it's just me and it's actually doing really well. So it's the music is empowering me and I'm empowering the show, which is, I think, fantastic.
That's really, that's a lovely way of looking at it as well, that it's symmetry between you and the artists.
Exactly.
That's really, really cool. And that's pretty much what the artists can do. If they make a track like that or a video, they can send it in and you can play it on the show.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have a submissions link which will be below in the notes. And I get probably 20 to 30 a week now.
Wow.
So it takes a while for me to go through it. So guys, if you do send in music, be patient. I will get to you. I like to play a lot of different types of music, including those who just start out and it may not be the best song or, you know, it's a little bit off. But I want to encourage people as well. So if they hear the music on the show, it boosts them up, you know, and then they'll continue to develop and hopefully send me some really good stuff in the future.
I mean, you've kind of got the punk ethic in the show, haven't you? It's sort of like, you don't have to be great. You know, you can just play 3 chords. That'll do me, even if you're starting out. That's great. So you actually took the influence of punk and put it into a show.
Yeah, that's true, Robbie.
That's really great. So, has there been any artists on there that you've sort of looked at and thought, I can't play that? Is there anyone that you've said actually no?
There were 2 bands that I couldn't play. One was an independent guy who sent me a music. It was very religious, and oh my God, talk about off key. Oh, it was absolutely horrible. You know, and I felt really bad. And he's the only guy that actually had to write back. And I said, try some religious stations. They might be able to help you with that, because it was not only the music was really, really bad, but it was also like condemning people who aren't Christians. And I know I don't really go for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so music's anti-religion, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other ones are just some punk bands that are just too foul-mouthed.
I was going to say, is it a submission thing that if people send it to you, you know, if there's no swear words in the lyrics, it definitely helps you get it on the air?
Oh yeah, definitely. When I first started, there was a band, I don't even think I can say their name. It was so gross, but they were really good. And I did try and play them, but you had to bleep a lot of stuff out. So in the end, it wasn't worth playing because half the song was bleeped out. But yeah, if it's if you can listen to it on regular radio before the watershed, then I'll be able to play it.
Yeah. Do you think there should be like a watershed now? Do you think people should be able to swear in records if they want, regardless of the time of day?
Well, you hear that more and more, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't think there's really a need for it. You know, a lot of the rap music, there's a lot of swearing on there. I've been sent a few songs for rap. I played some of them I couldn't because it was just too out there. And they even said to me, you know, I would tell them that I can't play it because of the swear words. They said, well, you don't really understand rap then. Okay, maybe I don't, but I know what I can play and what I can't play.
Yeah. Is there anything that's come along that's actually you thought, I'm not going to like it, but I'll play it as part of the show, but you've actually turned around and gone, oh, I really like that, actually. That's really...
Yeah, definitely. There was the first song I played by this band called the Sunpin Leaves. It was called, I forget the name of the song, but it was a very, very unusual song. Very unusual. At first I was like, are they kidding me? But then I listened to it a few times and it soon became one of my favorite songs. It's a wonderful song. Yeah. So yeah, that happened a few times. Yeah. Yeah. I like the thing about me, I don't want to blow my own horn, but I'm open to different types of music, you know?
Yeah.
And music does affect me. So I try and let it, you know, I try and look on the good side of anything that I listen to.
Should we play some more music?
Okay, let's.
Okay, who've got next for us?
Now, there's this guy, he's up in northern England, I'm not sure where. His name is Lee Richardson. He is the leader of the band called Dead Dad's Club. And they came out with an album. I think it's Sessions from the Basement. It was during the lockdown. And this is one of my favorite tracks from that. It's called What Are You Scared Of by the Dead Dads Club.
Watch out, they're getting near. Scary voices in your ear. No faith, you're feeling fear and psychedelic substance. Where did your mind just go? You said yes, then they told you no. You came down, and we all know you miss that acid feeling. Hey man, what are you scared of? Step out, you need to wake up. Hey man, what are you scared of now? Hey man, what are you scared of? Step out, you need to wake up. Hey man, what are you scared of now? There's a man who's lost and found, a mile up and then he's on the ground. Black bolts to numb the sound, 'cause everybody's judging. Shut down, your power's gone. You need to hit at a Hendrix song. Train home, then he's in the fog, 'cause everybody's judging. Hey man, what are you scared of? Step out, you need to wake up. Hey man, what are you scared of now? Hey man, what are you scared of? Step out, you need to wake up. Hey man, what are you scared of now?
is great.
Yeah, yeah, really good stuff. Dead Dad's Club.
They always say that if you're going to do a song and if it's any good, it'll sound great on acoustic. And that is just fantastic songwriting. It's the structure was fantastic as well. When he's doing like the bit like "Who needs me," where it was over the top of that in the middle eight there, that is really good. I mean, it just puts faith back in the English music scene, doesn't it? There's stuff out there.
Great.
There's,
The harmonies were amazing. Reminds me a little bit of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. You know,
there's nothing wrong with
back
that.
in the early days, and also it's got that bit of psychedelia in it too, which I really liked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that's just a really good song, really well written as well. You know, it's perfectly crafted as a song. I hope that's how they do that song. I know it's from the Basement Sessions or whatever. I hope they don't do that electric, because that is the way to do that song.
Yeah, I haven't heard an electric version of that one. I don't think they're going to. But Lee told me that the song was written about a friend who was always high on drugs, and he became quite paranoid and scared. So that's where this came from. What are you scared of?
Well, see, I took it as breaking up with somebody for the first time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they were breaking up. What you're scared of, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic. I mean, I just love the fact that there's bands like that in basements, literally.
Yeah.
Wait to
Yeah.
things like that. So let's talk about putting the show together. How does it work? How do you construct the show generally?
Okay, so what I do is I download all the music and information. I ask for basic bits of information. I ask for the song, of course, an MP3 version or WAV, but MP3 is better for me. I ask for a JPEG so I can publish and promote the band. I also try to get their links if they're on social media. Hopefully they're on the big three. A lot of times they're not, which makes it a little bit more difficult. And then what I do is I use my music app and I put everything into as I get it. Just put it in as I get it. And then I take maybe 10 to 15 songs and decide which ones I want to play. I try and use a variety of music on each show, unless I'm doing a themed show. And then I try, it takes me a little while because I want to get the flow right, you know, so it takes me a while. So I'll put it in a certain order and I'll listen to it and see if it flows all right. And then I'll try and adjust it. And it does take me a while. It probably takes me longer than it should, but I'm a perfectionist. In fact, well, I say perfectionist. I want it to be perfect for me. You know, I don't know if it's good for others, but it's great for me. And then I just do it here in this little home studio. You know, I mix it together. I have my Rodecaster Pro, which is fantastic. You have one of those, Robbie?
I have got one of those.
It's really good. It's really good. And then I don't use a lot of effects and things. I'm not really into that kind of 80s radio, you know, the wacky radio. I just try and speak from the heart. Yeah. I just try and speak from the heart. And there's probably other things I could do better. I could do social media better, I know, but it really is. It's boring to me, actually. But I know I need to do it. So I do it because I have to. I wish I enjoyed it more. And there's other things that I'd like to do. I like to get into more video. Showing some videos and things like that. I have a whole list of things I want to do. Yeah. But, hopefully they will be coming up.
So sending in a song, is it, if there's an artist watching this video or listening to the podcast now and they say, actually, I want to send something in, is there an ideal length for you? Like, would it be like something around 5 minutes is fine? It's like, could you not have a 15-minute track? Is it just too long?
Yeah, it's too long. I would say the most would be 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I like to play as many songs as I can. And some of the songs I get are like 10, 12 minutes. And it's just, sometimes I cut them down and I speak to the artist first and say, do you mind if I cut it down a bit? And they're okay with that. But I'd rather not. I'd rather just put it as they put it out. So yeah, just a 3 to 5 minute song would be fine. You know, it'd be great. Send it in, guys. Please send in more music.
Like you've not got enough. Sometimes you do specialist shows, as you mentioned earlier. You did one for the Ukraine recently, and that was really good, wasn't it? That went down really well.
Yeah, that was really great. That was really great because I did one right when the illegal war started and the war criminal Putin invaded Ukraine. Because I had a band from the Ukraine who sent music in before. They're called Krapka Koma. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, I had some songs from this band called Krapka Koma from Ukraine. And there's 2 women with electronic music. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. And I was concerned about her. So Alana, her name was. So I emailed her and found out what was going on. And she was no longer doing music. She was doing, she was learning how to fight and learning how to publicize what was actually happening in the war. You know, it changed their lives completely, and it really knocked me out, really. So I asked her to speak to the music community that she knew in Kiev and send me music. And it was a really good show, really diverse music. Everyone thinks, well, I used to think that the eastern part of the world had very just synthetic. Sorry, mate, I'm going to have to take a drink.
Okay. I mean, it's clear these musicians mean a lot to you, so it's, you know.
Yeah, it was something that really connected with me. And it was a really great show. We raised some money. I'm glad we raised some money. And then a year later, there's still a need for it. So we did a second Ukrainian show, and I still have so many Ukrainian tracks left over that I'm trying to play one or two every show, and also keep up with the charitable donations to the charity we support is Musicians Defend Ukraine, and it's all about musicians who are fighting on the front line, and they don't have what they need. So this charity raises funds to get those things like armor and good footwear and things like that. Real basic stuff that you would think they would have already. They don't.
You know, we'll put a link to that in the bottom as well, so people can find that if they want to donate as well. It's just a shame that, you know, living in the times we're living in, this is a problem. We should just be promoting the music and going.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. In fact, do you mind if we switch up the order of the song, mate? I'd like to play the David Nyro song now. Is that all right?
Of course. Yeah, sure.
Great. Because David Nyro is a musician from Washington State in the U.S. And he sent me some music and I played it on the show. And when I was doing this Ukrainian show, I wanted him to write a song. So I said, mate, write me a song. It's going to go out in 2 days' time. Now, this guy has written about 15,000 songs, so he's well-versed in writing songs. And at first he said, I'm not sure if I can. And then 2 days later, he sent me this song called Sunflowers. And since then, he's made a video, and it's won an award, the Paris Film Festival, Best Independent Music Video. It's done really, really well. We're trying to get it to be played in the Wembley concert for Ukraine in the fall. But yeah, I was glad to be part of that. And this is his video for Sunflowers by David Nyro.
I see sunflowers. I see sunflowers.
I see sunflowers dancing in the breeze. I see rivers flowing to the sea. I hear children laughing in the sun. But I see storm clouds darkening that far horizon. And I hear people crying out as one. I hear cannons thunder and an answering gun. I see lifetimes taken and nothing won, and all because of the fear of one. I see fires raging in the night. I hear choirs singing in the camps. I see teachers and boys, preachers and nurses learning how to fight. I hear countries crying out as I see sunflowers nodding in the sun. I see wheat fields yielding to the wind. I hear mothers calling out to their precious children. I see fathers who won't return.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really it pulls at your heartstrings, isn't it?
It does. It's amazing that when it's music involved, it's a different meaning compared to a bunch of actors singing "Imagine" at you during COVID. You know, it's when you've got like music and the video, like where they had the cardboard guns and all this sort of stuff, and it's just madness, isn't it? It's pure madness.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and a lot of the conversations I've had with Ukrainian people is just it just gets me, you know. All they want is peace. All they want is peace, and they love their country so much. Everything I hear is the glorious victory of Ukraine is coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
it may take a while because that guy is crazy, but Putin. But hopefully we'll get there. And when I do, we're going to do a celebratory Ukrainian show. It's going to be fantastic.
Excellent. Also in the links as well, I'll put a link to Clark Datchler from Johnny Hates Jazz. He redid Shattered Dreams for the people of Ukraine as well, and that's a donation.
Oh, great.
So we'll put a link to that now. Yeah, we spoke about that during the interview, and he's become. I mean, it seems to be the music world is behind this support, and the film industry isn't, which is isn't. It's only the musicians that are standing up saying this isn't right.
That's true.
I mean, it's amazingly powerful, and it's wonderful that David has done something like that as well. You know, supporting each other.
Yeah.
That's absolutely brilliant. So, when it comes to musical, do you have a sort of favorite music genre? That is it hard to pull away from your favorite one?
It is hard to pull away. I like garage rock, you know. I like these boy bands, you know. I love that. It's part of my past, and I really like that kind of stuff. I do play that, but I play a lot of different other stuff too. I try and keep away from it because I know I could just play that all day.
Yeah.
And
do you get a real balance of like male and female artists? Is there sort of one more than the other? Is it more sort of single white males? Or is it more female single white?
I often think about that with the show because I don't want it to be just white men sending in music, and it's not. It's by far it's white people, you know. And I'm trying to change that because you know, I do have a lot of rap that's coming in, and I can play some of it, and I try and encourage their musical mates to send me stuff in. I haven't really done. I've played a few from Africa, which was quite good, and a lot of reggae stuff. That was good. But it's mostly white people. But I'd say probably 55% of it is men and 45 women. A lot of women are sending music in, which I love. I think that's fantastic. It used to be when I was growing up that, you know, if there was a female artist, it was either manipulated by the man who was their manager, you know, like Ike and Tina, that kind of thing, or they just didn't really make it that big. But with the show, with the stuff I'm getting in, we're getting a lot of bedroom musicians, you know, that just write and record in their own bedroom, and then other people who are really serious about it, like Emma Howett, who was just going full hog on it. It's really great to see these women do it.
Should we have a female artist now?
Yeah, let's. This one's Madam Who, and she's from Maryland in the U.S. Now, she and her daughter went into the Atlantic Ocean for a little swim, you know, and a beautiful day at the beach turned into something that was absolutely horrible. They almost drowned. And out of the sea, Audra, her name was, Audra went into the sea, but she came out as Madam Who, and she decided she's gonna embrace this new creation of Madam Who and spread the word of inspiration. And she did with her album called Reclaim the Power. So here's the first song off that album, Reclaim Your Power by Madam Who.
Reclaim your power. Have you ever gotten down so hard you're seeing stars? You wanna end it all, but you don't, cause something inside you just won't die. It's too powerful. And your head is so filled with dread that you feel like you can't get out of bed, but you do, cause something inside you wants to fight, but you don't know how. So get up, get up, get up, get on your feet now. Get up, get up, get up, and feel your beat now. Come on, come on, come on, now take a breath. Sing after me. I am powerful. I am powerful. And I am beautiful. I am beautiful. And I'm incredible. I'm incredible. And I am worth it all. I am worth it all. Hey, hey, hey. You lay around in the days just amazed that you find yourself in a place that you hate, cause you never thought you'd be so weak inside, or so powerless. It's like, what are you gonna do about it, right? Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Well, here's what you can do about it right now. Love yourself like nobody else. And get up, get up, get up, get on your feet now. Get up, get up, get up, and feel your beat now. Come on, come on, come on, now take a breath. Sing after me. Yeah, I am powerful. I am powerful. And I am beautiful. I am beautiful. And I'm incredible. I'm incredible. And I am worth it all. I am worth it all. Yeah, this is the hour to reclaim your power. Yeah, reclaim the power, cause you, baby, are worth it all. This is the hour to reclaim the power, to reclaim the power. Learn to love yourself like somebody else. Hey, cause you're powerful, you're beautiful, incredible. So love yourself like nobody else. Hey, get up, get up, get up, get on your feet now. Get up, get up, get up, and feel your beat now. Come on, come on, come on, and take a breath. Sing after me. Yeah, I am powerful. I am powerful. And I am beautiful. I am beautiful. And I'm incredible. I'm incredible. And I am worth it all. You're worth it all. We're worth it all. Yeah, this is the hour to reclaim
Wow, that's interesting, isn't it?
I really like Madam Who. She's really inventive. She's great. She's gotten pretty big in America too. She was actually on Good Morning America, which is a huge nationally broadcast morning show. Really good stuff. She's a big champion of women artists and LGBTQ plus community.
I like the look as well, the sort of steampunk kind of.
Yeah, she's great.
That's really cool.
Fantastic.
Have you noticed if there's been like older artists that have submitted stuff to you? Because I noticed, like, you know, some of the people that are sending stuff in their sort of later years. So is there an age limit? Do people feel comfortable sending you stuff even if they're 65 plus, for argument's sake?
Definitely. I've get a lot of older people who just retired actually, and they're like, I've got some time now, and I've always wanted to do this. I have some songs that I wrote, and I'm going to do it. They send them in, you know, after they retire. It's really great stuff. I'm glad that they do, because they feel comfortable. I think also because they've listened to the show before, and I don't make any bones about it. I'm not a young man anymore, you know. So I think they feel comfortable sending it to me, and it's not some young hip guy who's gonna, you know, downplay their music or, you know, tear it apart. No, I accept it as it is. It's really, really good stuff.
Talking of punk music, as you love it, we're going to play a punk track now. Who's this gentleman that's coming up next?
Okay, this guy is called Mr. Fallrise, Nick. He's a really great guy. Now he does it all himself. He writes the songs, and he works a normal job, and he saves up for the recording time, and every once in a while he'll do a new song. This is one of his earlier songs. I really, really love it. It's called, what the heck's it called? It's Good by Mr. Fallrise.
Myself as an 80s baby, but was born in 1974. My life's been hit, miss, or maybe I was out when opportunity knocked on my door. Life is like an 80s game show. If you play your cards right, you can come on down. But I don't want to win no speedboat, I just want to get out of this town. Let's see if it's up there. My life is good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. Somebody show me what I could have won. I still remember, shut that door. I'm in a real life generation game. My life's been win, lose or draw. Now can I have my 15 minutes of fame? Life is like an 80s game show. If you play your cards right, you can come on down. But I don't want to win no speedboat, I just want to get out of this town. Let's see if it's up there. My life is good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. Somebody show me what I could have won. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. Somebody show me what I could have won. Is somebody spinning, 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 spinning my wheel of fortune? My life is good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. Somebody show me what I could have won. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. Somebody show me what I could have won. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. Somebody show me what I could have won. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. It's good, but it's not quite right. Somebody show me what I could have won.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Not all the songs are very serious, you know, so that was a lot of fun. I like Mr. Fallrise. It's good.
I mean, what I like about it is it's equating 80s stuff, which, you know, I love, to
Oh yeah.
the thing, like Like, let's see if it's up there.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really cool. I mean, you could hear that in a film easy, couldn't you? You know, this sort of like
definitely.
those sort of teenage movies where they're running around and being divs. Yeah, that's really good stuff. What I love about it is all the tracks you played me so far, the sound quality has been absolutely amazing. Like there's you can do home studio stuff now, and it's fantastic. And there's also different artists out there. I've got a record by a man called CJ Moon, and he recorded his entire album on an iPhone.
Wow.
And it's kind of got this echoey, scratchy kind of sound, and it's a guitar and it's just his vocal and that sort of stuff. And that's what I like about sort of independent stuff. You know, CJ Moon would not get played on Radio 1.
Right.
But, you know, you've got shows like yourself that will play those sorts of things. You've got an exciting sort of announcement, an idea, should we say, coming up. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I've always wanted to have an Unknown Sounds gig in London. And we're trying to get one together. Now, I've contacted a lot of the artists, and some of them are really into it. Some of them actually want to come over from America to do it.
Wow.
But there's a lot going on. You know, I've never done this before, so the more I look into it, the more complex it is. So what I'm going to try and do, I think, is get maybe 4 or 5 bands together, local bands that have been played on the show, and do a little gig at a small place in London. I think I know which one, but I'm not going to announce it yet. And it'll be like half of kind of like folk Americana stuff, and then go into some harder stuff later that night. So hopefully we'll be making the announcement soon. I'm not sure how much time we need to do it in advance, but there's a lot going on. So I think it's good. I think we actually are going to have an Unknown Sounds gig, and it's going to be in the aid of Musicians Defend Ukraine, of course. So that's where all the money will go if we raise any money. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. You're gonna go, Robbie, if we get it together?
Yeah, I might come along.
Oh, good.
You know, I'll be there. You know,
fantastic.
So we're going to play out with one more track in a minute to finish the show. But in the meantime, if people want to submit to the show or find out about the gig, where's the best places to go for that?
Well, on all the social media, the main social media that Unknown Sounds use is Facebook. It's just Unknown Sounds. And also Twitter, Unknown Sounds PS. And what's the other one? Instagram, Unknown Sounds with Pete Saxer. I'm going to be getting a website up soon, hopefully, as well. So that will be the essential hub. But for right now, use the social media links. And mostly on those links, you'll also see the submissions link, which is also down below. That'll take you to a little page that explains what we do, how we do it, and then you can submit it. Fantastic. I hope I hear from you guys. I'd like to play your music.
Pete, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to play one more song. What's it going to be?
Oh, thanks, Robbie. Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate it. We're going to play a song by the Sound Lizards. They're from Southern Florida. They've been a great supporter of Unknown Sounds, and we love them. This is a single. It's called Living on Island Time by Seb and Gabriel from the Sound Lizards.
Taking my time, 'cause I'm living free, yeah. Yes, I do what I want, and I say what I say. I got nowhere to be, so you can stay in my way all day. Alright, 'cause I'm living the dream, do you know what I mean? 'Cause I'm living on island time. Got no worries today, if it's work it can't wait, 'cause I'm living on island time. Here I am again, wondering where I've been. You can honk and blow all you want, like just smiling wave bye-bye. I'm just hanging out, my friends they're coming with me. Gonna paint the town tonight. never get there, then we'll see. Yes, I'm living the dream. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I'm living on island time. I got no worries today. If it's work, it can wait. Yes, I'm living on island time. All right. I'm living on island time. I got no worries today. If it's work, it can't wait. Yes, I'm living on island time. Yes, I'm living a dream. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I'm living on island time. I got no worries today. If it's work, it can't wait. Yes, I'm living on island